In this video, I'll be showing you how you can set up DokuWiki on a remote server, which means the files for your wiki aren't on your own computer, they're stored on someone else's servers. And the advantage of that is that you can navigate to your website through your URL from any device. So that's the benefit, among other things, but that's the primary benefit. So to set up something like that, the first thing you want to have is the domain name, which is sort of what you type in to get to your wiki. So generally, if you pick something not too common, maybe with your name, it'll be available. And you can base the name on what type of wiki it is. So if it's for storing notes, maybe you would call it notesjameshas.com if your name is James, right? Whatever is easy for you to remember and not too long. And then essentially, you want to make sure that domain name is available. You can easily just, use any tool to check if the domain's free. I'm using this one. And if it is available, it will tell you when you search for it if it is, and it will tell you the cost. So this is $12 a year. And once you've paid for that, that's just the name. That's all you've bought. You haven't bought anything else. So you'll also want to pay for the service of actually being able to use someone else's service, right? So to use someone else's service, you're going to want to pay for that. Generally be monthly, not yearly. And for A2 hosting, they have a temporary discount, but the actual price for a reasonable performance would be about $25 a month, right? And you're also limited to 100 gigabytes for that. So keep that in mind. If you want more storage than that, then you'll have to pay more money, right? For a more expensive plan. So yeah, that's what I use, and that's how much that costs. And once you've done that, you'll have an account with them, and you'll want to log into that, right? And once you've logged into it, the first thing you'll see is, what domain name you bought, notesjameshas.com or whatever it is, what product you paid for. And then what you want to do is you want to, find where this cPanel login button is and click that, and it'll take you to cPanels. So this is common to any web provider. There's this cPanel. And to install our wiki, we'll want to find where this Softicless apps installer is in the cPanel. And then we'll want to find the wikis button, and we'll want to click that. And then once we've done that, we'll be able to install a wiki. There are a few different types of wikis you can install, like MediaWiki is what Wikipedia uses, but we're using DokuWiki, so that's the one we'll select. And then you want to hit install. And basically you always want to use HTTPS pretty much. You want to put your domain for the wiki here. So if it was, let's say, notesjameshas.com, you would have that there. You would leave this blank because that's going to create the folder for it based on the domain name. So you don't need to specify anything. It will be the folder to store all your files in will be the domain name. I'm trying to say in your and you can see that in FileZilla. So mine was knowledgecoreyhas.com. So when I created this wiki, it took the domain name, created a folder just called that, and that's where everything's stored, right? So yeah, you want to do that, and then you want to specify your wiki name. That's what we'll show here. You can always change that later. Now the ACCL policy, you can always sort of change this later, but I would recommend starting with closed. Closed basically means no one can view a page, no one can edit a page, no one can basically do anything unless they're logged in, okay? But the other option is public, and that means other people can go to your wiki and they can view the pages, but they can't edit them unless they're logged in. And finally, open, that basically means anyone can view it and edit it. So anyone could just write whatever they wanted to, edit the page and sort of put that what they want, right? So I recommend closed, and you can close it off to people. And then later on, you can specify, what pages do you want to make public to other people, or what users that are logged in. So you can specify that all later, but I reckon closed to start off with is the safest option. And then you want to create an account. This account is sort of, you can always change the password and, some of these things later on. But basically, this is what you'll be using to log into your wiki. So this will be the very first account to log in. So put, the username, which you put in to log in, and the password, your real name, and whatever email address associated with that. You could specify language, and then here in advanced options, you'll generally have all of this the same. Maybe you might think you want to enable automatic updates, but one disadvantage of that is that the plugins that you've installed might take a couple more months for the developers of them to update that so it works to the latest version. So I think maybe you're a bit better off not auto updating and sort of manually updating. And by manually, I mean it's not too difficult. You can just do it through your menu. There'll be a update button. But yeah, you can sort of do it later on, I'm trying to say. As opposed to automatically upgrading and then, it doesn't work because the plugin developer hasn't updated it to work with the latest version, right? So I would have that off. And then you'll hit install, and then it will create a folder, create your wiki. It'll have everything blank, and then you can immediately log in with your account details. So you should have, written them down so you can use that. So yeah, hopefully that all makes sense. That's basically how it works. I'm just thinking if there's anything I might have missed, but I don't think so. I think that's the main thing. That's how you set it up on a server. I forgot to mention two things. So yeah, one other thing you want to do in the cPanel is basically select your PHP version, and you want to, I'm using the latest one, but I'm basically just saying you want to make sure that whatever version of PHP you're using is relatively modern. So I'm using 8.3, which is the newest version. DokuWiki specifically says that you require 7.4 or higher, so it's just something to keep in mind, and they also recommend 8. So just something to note. And the other thing I also could have mentioned was you should install some sort of client like FileZilla for connecting to your server remotely from your local device. And once you've downloaded this, you'll have to sort of connect to your site. So I'm not going to obviously show you my actual account details, but as an example, you'll have to put in your host, this SFTP SSH file transfer protocol, port number, username and password, and then once you've done that, you'll actually be able to connect to your site from your local computer. And the advantage of that is if you want to transfer files to or from your wiki, or delete something, or perform any file operations, you can do that through this FileZilla client. Okay, so it's mostly just a tool for that sort of stuff. Obviously, you can do a lot of things through the actual wiki itself, but this is just another thing you want to have set up. So yeah, that's definitely recommended.